ourselves back is not a benign act. This is from Brené Brown. Holding ourselves back is not a benign act. Karlee and I are so grateful to be here together again with you for the fourth in our series about navigating a graceful transition. And we wanted to use that Brené Brown quote as a stepping off point for a conversation about the cost of not taking the risk to move forward, whether it's in career, relationship, health, where you live.
Yeah.
What do you think, Karlee?
You know, this one really speaks to me because we're so good when we're making a change. And let's go to relationship. I'll think about a specific relationship I had where things went really well for a long period of time. We were, you know, all on board together for a really long time. It was great. We had all these future plans happening. And then, you know, through time, we realized, oh, you know, we were in our 20s too. Maybe this isn't 100% compatible. And it was really easy for me to look at the cost of what would happen if I did make a change. If we break up, does that mean I'm going to be alone? Well, then I've got to move out. Where am I going to live?
Okay.
Right? And it was this like spiral of making it very easy to see the cost of making that shift. But on the flip side, considering the cost of nothing changing.
Oh my God, that just made me nauseous.
I know, I get a knot in my
Say
stomach.
that again. Considering the cost
of nothing changes.
of nothing changing.
And I know I don't mean to be scary when I say this, but if
Wow.
if a year from now you're in the same boat that you're in right now, what's that going to be like?
David White, the poet David White, once said, "We don't change until we've become so sick to our stomach of hearing ourselves have the same conversations over and over and over in our head." And I do think there is a bit of a truth to that. And I think that's what Brené Brown was pointing to is, you know, holding ourselves back is not benign. It's actually, it can be toxic over time. Like, and one of the things we lose is the possibility of a better future. Just think of the transition moments you're in right now, and what's the cost of staying exactly the same a year from now? It really does make it
right. And sometimes a year is even too much. It's like 6 months from now.
Okay.
If in a month from now I'm having the same conversation with the same people or with myself in the car about the same, you know, the same issue, how's it going to show up for me? And how's it going to show up not just in my relationship, but how is that trickling out into other areas of my life?
Yeah.
Into the way I'm spending my day.
Okay.
Maybe at work.
Right.
Or my health. You know, how is that showing up? Or, you know, my migraines, are they related to this relationship?
Right.
My tummy ache, is that related? Am I seeing a pattern here happening? What is the cost of all this staying the same? Yeah, it's a sobering question.
You know, it's funny because as I was getting ready for the taping today, I put on, a dear friend of mine just brought back some sparkle mascara
which I'm really enjoying up close.
From Italy.
Yeah.
A tiny thing, right? Mascara. Like it's almost irrelevant in the world. And yet, I know that if I hadn't considered that question a number of years ago in the midst of a long-term marriage, I might have been tempted to stay the same because the cost of changing felt so huge. What was it going to do to my kids? What was it going to do to my heart? Would I ever fall in love again? I had to move. You know, finances sort of disappeared, like financial safeties. So the cost of making the divorce change was enormous, but the cost of staying the same was even more. And to bring it back to today, I know I would have less shimmer, less sparkle, less joy, less passion, less creativity, less play with life, less buoyancy, less exuberance, less zest, if I had chosen to stay in the gray.
So, can you help me get a little light at the end of the tunnel here? Because I don't know about you, but this can be a sobering conversation. I think a necessary conversation around, okay, if nothing changes. But in the field of positive psychology, you've talked a little bit about the possibility. I heard you say that earlier of, you know, what could be possible for me if I did make a change.
Right. Well, I think like with any major transition, it's important to look at both sides. And so Karlee's question helps us look at the cost of changing and the cost of staying the same. And positive psychology will bring us in another direction, equally important, which is what might be possible. So this is work done by Laura King, for example, at Harvard, who asks us to journal about a fantastic future. Not a future crafted in delusion or, you know, Disney sort of fantasy dust, but if everything, this is literally her question, if everything went as well as it possibly could, what would that look like? You know, and to live into the reality of the potential costs, and to live in the reality of the potential beauty that can emerge. And it may not have anything to do with sparkle mascara for you, but it will have something to do with coming alive, right? Coming more alive in your life, in what's true for you, in what's nourishing, and what's helpful. And so I love the thought of, we're offering the workshop at Kripalu for 4 days. I love the thought of having time and space to explore this with open-minded, open-hearted, equally thoughtful sort of peers, right?
Right, and in a different environment. Sometimes there's just something about disrupting the pattern of our normal day and being in a different location that allows us to seed some different thoughts and some different ways of viewing things.
Right.
Yeah. Mm. So that would be, you know, I keep asking a question at the end of each video. My question here would be, what's the cost for you if nothing changes? And sometimes I break that down into the big three: career, health, and relationship. If you picked one of those, what might be the cost if nothing changed there? And then to follow up with, and what is possible for you? I've heard you say this phrase, permission to be human and permission to be magnificent. Talk about enlivening. If you gave yourself permission to be magnificent, what could that look like?
Yeah, and so here's the thing. When we meet at Kripalu, we'll break that down into what it really means to be magnificent in oneself and in one's life. And if that feels like too big a word, and I can appreciate that, it's really about permission to be who you are at your best within, and to move in that direction. Just to move in that direction.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yay!
We look forward to your comments. We'll be back soon with the next video.
Take care, everyone.
Be well.